Welcome, everyone, to today's Explainer. We're going to be unpacking the architecture of a totally different kind of AI tool today, and that's Claude. Now, based on the source material, we really need to shift our whole mental model here. We've got to stop thinking about AI as just a souped-up search engine, you know? Instead, we need to look at it as a comprehensive workflow architecture. By the time we wrap up, we'll see exactly how this approach is aiming to literally flip the script on how we handle those really complex, time-consuming daily tasks.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Think about the difference between a simple chatbot and an actual thinking partner. We're all super familiar with the old transactional model, right? You ask a basic question and you get a basic, and let's be real, sometimes totally robotic answer. It's basically a ping-pong match of simple queries. But the architecture we're looking at today, it is built from the ground up for collaboration. This absolutely isn't just about retrieving facts. It's an assistant structured to roll up its sleeves and actually work with you to tackle complex problems and navigate some really tricky situations.
So here is our roadmap for the explainer so you know exactly where we're headed. First, we'll meet your thinking partner. Second, we'll look at being guided by constitutional AI. Third, we'll get into mastering Claude's capabilities. And finally, we'll look at bringing Claude into your workspace.
Section 1. Meet your thinking partner. We are completely moving past that old chatbot baseline here. So, Claude operates as a steerable collaborator, but what does steerable actually mean for your day-to-day workflow? Well, it means it's specifically designed to take direction from you. You dictate the personality, the tone, the behavior. You are definitely not stuck with that default monotonous AI voice. Like, if you need it to draft a highly technical engineering report, boom, it adapts. But if you need it to pivot and help brainstorm a super lighthearted social media campaign, it totally adapts to that too. Because it's so highly steerable, users generally find it way easier to converse with. And the bottom line there, you get exactly the output you want with significantly less effort.
Moving on to Section 2, guided by constitutional AI. Let's look at the foundational architecture that actually makes it reliable. Now, what's really interesting here is how this proprietary guardrail system actively shapes Claude's reliability. It's known as constitutional AI. And listen, this is not just some filter they slapped on at the very end of development. It's actually a fundamental training approach. It literally aligns the AI with human values right from the ground up. This system actively ensures that Claude operates with total transparency and deliberately avoids toxic, discriminatory, or unethical outputs. It is hardwired to refuse to help humans engage in illegal activities. It gives the whole architecture a real solid constitutional backbone.
And this whole ethos really boils down to 3 vital words: helpful, harmless, and honest. Now, this isn't just some catchy marketing tagline. It's the actual functional framework that dictates exactly how Claude behaves in every single interaction. Think about it. When you're feeding sensitive data or super critical business strategies into a system, you need absolute confidence in its integrity, right? Well, this constitutional framework is designed specifically so users can trust Claude as a genuinely secure, transparent thought partner.
All right, Section 3, mastering Claude's capabilities. We're going to shift gears here and take a look under the hood at the sheer horsepower of these models. Claude excels across a massive spectrum of cognitive tasks. If we're talking writing, you get this amazing iterative tone collaboration. For research, it parses heavy data to surface the actual meaningful insights. When it comes to coding, the source material points out that Opus 4.7 is basically a leading model globally. We're talking about writing, debugging, and explaining incredibly complex code across multiple programming languages. No big deal, right? And for problem solving, it can handle advanced mathematical models and deep, complex strategic analysis. It absolutely doesn't just process text, it processes pure logic.
Let's look at a very specific number that makes all of this possible: 500. So to put that into perspective, 500 represents the number of pages of text. That's over 200,000 tokens that you can drop into a single conversation. You can literally upload entire textbooks, years of dense financial reports, or massive legal documents all at once. And if you're on the Pro, Max, Team, or Enterprise plans using Opus 4.7, that context window zooms out to a massive 1 million tokens. This gives the AI all the context it needs to consider extensive, complex materials without ever losing the thread of the conversation. Now, to process all that massive data, Opus 4.7 and Sonnet 4.7 operate as hybrid reasoning models. You essentially get 2 distinct modes here. You've got near-instant responses for those quick, everyday tasks, working right alongside extended thinking for deep reasoning. And this brilliantly illustrates how it tackles the hard stuff. Extended thinking allows the model to actually work through complex problems step by step before it even gives you an answer. It stops, analyzes, structures its thoughts, and then presents a carefully reasoned solution instead of just making an educated guess.
Which actually brings us to a surprisingly brilliant feature, learning mode. If you're exploring a totally unfamiliar domain or you're just trying to master a new skill, the system adapts to your specific learning pace. Instead of just handing you the answer on a silver platter, which, let's face it, doesn't always help us learn, learning mode acts way more like a tutor. It guides your reasoning process, asks you the right questions, and actually helps you develop your own critical thinking skills. It's an architecture designed to actively assist in making you smarter.
Section 4, Claude in your workspace. Let's look at exactly where and how you can integrate this directly into the tools you're already using. So the crucial point is that this intelligence isn't just locked up in one isolated place. Your conversations, your projects, and your memory sync seamlessly across all your devices, meaning Claude literally lives where you work. You've got Claude.ai on the web, your desktop, and your phone for all that primary brainstorming and writing. For the developers out there, there's Claude Code, which is this incredibly cool agentic tool that can directly edit files and run commands right on your machine. It also integrates natively into Slack workspaces, so it can search team channels and shared files to give you context-rich answers right in the middle of a group chat. Oh, and there's Claude for Excel, which gives you a sidebar that reads, analyzes, and debugs formulas directly inside your spreadsheets. The whole goal is just minimizing the friction of using AI across your platforms.